Yeah, so like I was saying, like Gregory Manarino was saying, like, you need to have a minimum of 6 months ahead on your living expenses. And that would be the bare minimum. Now, a lot of people say, Greg, I can't do that. Well, you're not going to do it overnight. It'll take you a couple of years to get that far ahead. It really will. Like, it took me 3 years to be able to save up enough to buy my truck. Right? I can fit. I always fit. So I was thinking about this little car, it fits everywhere. The thing is like, one, it's not that it takes so long to save up. That's one part of it. The part that gets you is the one thing that breaks that wipes out all your savings in 5 minutes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything is so bloody expensive. And because of that, you know, like, you have to put your priority on getting ahead so that when something goes wrong, you have a buffer zone. Like, for the people that work at home, like a lot of people like that work at home and stuff like that, you know, like that can work out of their house and they don't have to travel and stuff like that. They have a huge advantage there, and they don't. So a lot of times they don't realize it. Now that has its vines and its vices, because I've talked to a lot of people that work at home and they're like, yeah, you work at home, it's great, but then you start drinking during the day. You know, like, it's like, you know, like, it's. There's one guy I remember I worked with him. He was a Newfoundlander, which, well, there's half the drinking problem right there. Lord, thunder and Jesus buys, but. He's like, the reason why he came and got a job was he just wanted to get out of the house because everything just got so stagnant. Now, I'm one of those guys that the way I do my work, like when I was just a YouTuber, and solely surviving off a YouTuber for like 4 years, that was like, I get up at whatever time I want to get up, make my videos for the day, and then go do whatever for the day, you know, and you know, like, it was a very low cost operation, right? Where now, you know, there's fuel costs, there's that. Yeah, the car's cheaper than the truck, there's no doubt about that, but it's still an expense. And it's amazing how fast, you know, these expenses add up, right? So this is the year where, you know, if I can get off on a good foot this year, it sets me up really well for next year. Then next year, you know, I can get really far ahead. I'd like to be at least 2 years ahead on everything, you know, and just have like a bit of a nest egg. Because, like, you know, I'm one of those on the work till you die programs, right? So there's going to be no retirement for guys like me, you know, and if there is, it's like, you know, barely enough. Like, you won't be able to pay your rent, you know what I mean, or anything like that. So the goal is to think as far ahead in the future as you can, right? And when you do that, it's overwhelming at first, but then once you get into the routine of it, what happens is you learn how to get money in your hand and not just run out and spend it right away. You know, you delay the gratification. And then something pops up and you're just like, okay, I'm not panicking, worried, I got it covered. And that, trust me, is worth more than the quick gratification of spending your money right away, right? And I know a lot of people, like, you know, most people are not good with money. Me, I can make a penny, I could turn a penny into a nickel. You know what I mean? Like, because I really think about things long. When I buy something, I've been thinking about it probably for about a year, you know, or months or whatever. And that's why I don't do whimsical thing, you know, like, just go and fix this, just go and fix that. And then you're on debt and then you have no money for the winter, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know, like, I know what the cost of things are, especially with vehicles. Fixing vehicles is definitely a very expensive venture, right? So you got to be very careful with vehicles because they can keep you vehicle poor very, very easily. So it's kind of like, yeah, you gotta ride the edge of running it into the ground versus keeping it running, right? And that's always a trick when you don't have any money saved up to be able to do a quick replacement, right? So, like, I'm already looking for the next car or whatever. But I want to have, like, you know, I'd like to have at least $2,000 in my pocket just sitting there waiting for the next vehicle because, you know, for $2,000 I might be able to find something okay, you know. $400 and you get a year out of it, you're doing good. If you get 2 years out of it, you're laughing. You get 4 years out of it, you're just, you know, hysterically laughing. But it's always, every time you drive it, it's like no expectations. I'm either going to arrive where I need to or I'm not. You know what I mean? Like that's, so there's that. So if you can't handle that kind of stress level of a used vehicle, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But to buy a new vehicle is just, like, the only people that can buy new vehicles are like government employees and stuff like that, because like nobody else is making the money. The odd business owner, yeah, they can buy new vehicles. Guys like me can never ever in our life in a lifetime afford a new vehicle. $60,000 for a truck, for a base model truck, $900 a month. Yeah, I could do that maybe 2 months out of the year. You know, maybe 3. The rest of the year it's going to be like maybe anything over $200 a month is too much. You know, like that's the only amount I can guarantee that I can come up with for 12 months out of the year. So that's why like June and July and August have been, you know, well, I've been doing really well since March, February, so to speak, because I got that little kickoff in January of making $1,000 in January, or $500 or whatever it was, that I normally wouldn't make anything, or I'd make like $200 or $300. And then February I made you know, like an extra $1,000 that I wasn't anticipating making a cent in February. And then March, you know, because we had an early spring, I was starting to get going on other things. And in April I was almost full bore, where usually nothing really takes off until about May. So I got lucky this year, right? But I'm capitalizing on it, and I'm you know, going to use that to my advantage. So right now I got almost, well, I got about $120 into December's living expenses. So if I can cover up to the end of December, that's 5 months ahead on my living expenses. That's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's a buffer zone, right? So that way, like last year, where like I was just starting to make money this time of the year, and I was so broke that last year, like it was so tough last year. I thought it was going to be a devastating winter, but I got lucky in November, December, and January and February, right? And so I really didn't have that much downtime, which is normally very unheard of for me. So anyway, if I get lucky again this year, let's say I can make it to, I normally can make it into October, but let's say I make it into November or December again this year, and then January, February, I don't make a cent. That's fine. But my goal for next year is to be more musician oriented and less 7 days a week, 6 days a week, because it's hard grinding like this at 51 years old. It really is, especially this, like, I mean, working on hills like this yesterday was, you know, when it feels like you're going to pull the bottom of your boots off. That is really hard on, and up and down, you know, like I'm trying to talk to my client and I'm completely out of breath because I got to go up these stairs, you know, 60 feet and down, and it's a hill like this, right? And the stairs are like this too, you know what I mean? Dragging branches up and down that. That, you know, like, I don't enjoy that. You know, I really don't, you know, but, you know, it is what it is, you know. Like my buddy Paul asked me all the time, do you like doing this kind of work? I like it in comparison to what? You know, like it's all miserable work to me. Like, do I hate working for a living? No, I don't hate working for a living. Do I hate hard labor for a living? Yes. Do I when I'm working it, do I sit there, oh, I hate this, I hate that? No, I don't do that. I'm not like a millennial or a you know, Gen Z or whatever that just sits there and just obsesses how much they hate their job, because that does nothing for you. I just put it out of my mind and just kind of like, you know, strong back, weak mind, just, you know, put my mind off in la la land while I'm going through the motions of it. Sitting on a lawnmower is nothing. It's like, okay, well, it's at least it's easy on my back, you know what I mean? Whippersnipping, it's hard on you. It's hard on you, especially with my shoulders shot now from it. My back is shot, my knees are shot, you know, but I can tolerate it for long periods of time. But it catches up to you, right? So the point is that there is no free lunch. But if you can make, you know, if you can make your earnings far enough ahead that you don't have to grind so much, and you could have maybe you only work 3 or 4 days a week. I did that, and it would, like, now it'd be impossible to do, but in town for about 4 years I just worked 3 days a week. I was like, well, I'm going to be poor anyway, and you know, time versus the money. You know, I had enough money to get a couple of little things. I bought some kayaks, I had my sailboats, stuff like that. you know, I didn't spend stupid, but I could go out and have a meal with my friends, and that was just 3 days a week, you know. But mind you, it was a lot cheaper back then too. Now you couldn't do that, but you know, had a bit of a life. I put more emphasis on enjoying my life than I did on just, okay, try to get the Lamborghini. I'm not going to get the Lamborghini. I'm not going to get the you know, like the big house and the big car. I'm not going to get that stuff because I just, you know, that's an impossible